Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the second video that I promised you that will show you how to fill out your IFTA form so that you can stop paying people like me and others to do this very simple task for you. Put that money in your pocket. All right, roll it. Hey, welcome back. If this is your first time here on Trucking Topics, welcome. Please consider supporting the channel by subscribing and hit that notification bell so that you can be made aware of future video drops. We're going to just get right into the video. And what I want to do is show you guys how easy it is to fill out your own IFTA form. Now, by the way, if you haven't seen the first video, which explains what IFTA is, it goes into the basics of what it is, why it's around. Click this card right here, and that will take you right to that first video. And then you can come back to this video, video number 2, and it will all come together for you. All right, let's get into the screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out my quarterly. This was a quarterly earlier this year, and I'm going to fill it out for Utah because that's my base jurisdiction. As mentioned in the first video, your IFTA report is always filled out wherever your base jurisdiction is. So mine's Utah. But what you need to know is this form and the information that's on it is pretty much not standard, but the same things will be asked on other states' forms, okay? It might be formatted a little bit different, but it's going to be pretty close to this, okay? So we can see up here, this is the IFTA Special Fuel User Tax Return for Utah. They call it their TC 922. Your business and address goes here. Your IFTA account number is here. Federal identification for your business is here, and this is the tax period. What quarter was it? Was it January 1st to March 31st? And then if any of these boxes apply to you, you would check them. Now, on this particular form, as we scroll down here, the only thing that is going to be filled out on this form in this section, Part A, is diesel, because that's pretty much all we're dealing with, right? Is most of us, 99.999% of us, is dealing with diesel. There's not going to be anything in all of these boxes here. It's just going to be all right here. These are totals that we'll get from the second page, which is the detail page, okay? And then we're going to get to this line item number 5 in Part C will tell us whether or not we are getting a refund or whether we have to pay some money. Now, these forms also come with instructions, and they're very easy to read instructions, okay? So this is the first page of a 2-page form in Utah, and I thought that it would be better if let me switch over here to the detail page. Now this is a DC 922D. These are Utah numbers, okay? This is what they call it, and the D is for detail. This is where we're going to tell IFTA what we did, what states were we in, what kind of fuel was it, what was the tax rate for that quarter, our total miles in that state, our taxable miles, which is normally the same. I'll explain that. And then just fill these out. One line for each state you were in, okay? And then if you go to the bottom, then these columns here are totaled up, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. And if you go back to our first page, you see here D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. All those numbers are going to just get transcribed right into here. Okay, we have to bring those numbers forward. All right, so this isn't hard because we're getting it from the second page totals down here, all right? And then, of course, for the Schedule D, they're going to give you instructions on how to complete it, okay? Now, through the magic of editing, we're going to do Schedule D first, and lo and behold, the magic of editing has brought this form to life and saved you a lot of time in falling asleep on me. All right, so up here you would put your name and then your IFTA account number, your tax period, and your page of pages. This for me would be page 1 of 1. This is all I'm going to need because I didn't even finish filling out the whole form. Now, what I did here, I'm going to go just about 3 lines, and after about 3 lines, I think you're going to get the gist of this, okay? So the first line, I was in Utah. My fuel is diesel. All of these are diesel, okay? The fuel rate at the time, and I'm going to explain how you get that in just a few minutes. The fuel rate at the time was 30 cents a gallon. So every gallon I purchased in Utah, I paid 30 cents per gallon for the tax, all right? My total miles driven in Utah for that quarter was 8,098. Now let me tell you a great easy way to get your mileage information, and that is through your ELD. Your ELD software or back-end office has a way for you to run a report that will tell you how many miles you drove in any given state in any period of time. Okay, so like most of us before ELDs came along, what we did is we had a piece of paper sitting around somewhere and we'd hurry up and write down the odometer reading as we were crossing the state line. No longer need to do that. Your ELD will give you this information, okay? The taxable miles in E are the same as D because they were all IFTA miles, okay? Now, the taxable gallons in Utah for me for this quarter was 1,041. And you might ask, well, how did you get to that number? Well, let's go back to the magic of editing again to page 1, where I have already filled in this information up here, okay? And basically on page 1, this information here is put there so that we can arrive at this. Our miles per gallon, our average miles per gallon for that quarter. And basically all you do is you take your total miles and then you take all of your IFTA gallons, all right? And you divide, it just tells you easy right here, C divided by F. C divided by F gives you 7.78 average miles per gallon, all right? So we need that figure now for our second sheet. Let's go back to the second sheet, and the way you get this 1,041 is you take the total miles that you traveled in Utah and you divide that by 7.78. When you divide these miles by 7.78, you get 1,041 miles. Column F are the gallons that you burned in Utah. You pay for the gallons that were burned in that state, okay? So they're saying here that because I drove 8,098 miles in that quarter and I got an average of 7.78 miles to the gallon, that I burned 1,041 gallons, and that's what I'm going to be charged on, okay? I'm going to be charged 1,041 gallons times the tax rate, which is 30 cents, okay? Now, before we get to that, this 1293, this column G, 1293 right here, is how many gallons I purchased in Utah. So this is gallons purchased, this is gallons burned. This is what I get charged on. As you can see, if you take 1,293 and you take away 1,041, I get 252 gallons. Negative 252. And this is telling me that I bought 252 gallons more in Utah than maybe I should have. I mean, if I wanted to break even, right? So that's a credit to me because I spent 30 cents times 252 when I really didn't need to, because I only burned 1,041 gallons. So when you take that 252 times 30 cents, you get $75.60 as a credit, and that gets taken over here. So far I'm getting a refund of $75.60. Explain to you where we get the fuel tax rates from. You go to IFTACH.org, and it brings you to this site right here. It's the International Fuel Tax Association Incorporated. So what you do is you come up here to the upper right hand corner and it says tax rates, okay? Click on tax rates. Again, this is IFTACH.org. And then it brings you to this page and you're going to click on tax rate matrix. Click on that. And here we go. Now, I'll just quickly explain this and then we'll go back. These are all the tax rates. And you'll see up here, this is gasoline, special diesel, gasohol, propane, all the way across. This is our column right here, special diesel. These are all of the provinces here. This is Canada. And then let's get on down here to the US. Now, anytime you see anything in yellow, something has changed, okay, from the last reporting period. So for instance, let's look at Alabama right here. Alabama is, and again, here's gasoline, here's special diesel. So we're in the second column, okay? Alabama's tax rate is 27 cents, all right? And that's all you need to know is it's 27 cents. Arizona is 26 cents. Arkansas is 24 and a half cents. You see that? Back up because I'm in the, see, you have to be careful. Even I make mistakes. I'm in the gasoline section, so special diesel. California, look, 79.5. This is different than what's on my report. Remember, my report was 76 cents. That's because this is an updated IFTA chart, all right? So 79.5 here in California now. 44.6, and I say point, there's a point before this, but it's, anyway, it's math. So this is where you get your tax rates that we put into column C on the detail page, okay? So iftach.org. And this, you need to check this every quarter you do your return because you're gonna, have some different. This doesn't make any difference to us, but we have what? We have two places, Alabama and Connecticut, that changed their diesel tax rate since the last reporting. So that's that. So that's how you get your tax rates. Let's see if I can explain it a little better for Arizona. In Arizona, their tax rate is 26 cents a gallon. I only had 2,004 miles in Arizona, and they were all taxable miles. They were all IFTA miles. And so I purchased 416 gallons in Arizona, but I only burnt 258 gallons. And the way we get that is we take this 2,004 miles, we divide it by our 7.78 miles, average miles per gallon, and that's how we get the 258. Then, though, I purchased 416 gallons, which is way more than 258 gallons. So I have a credit of 158 gallons. Well, I take that 158 gallons and I times it by 26 cents. And when I do that, I get $41.08 as a credit to me because I overpurchased in Arizona, okay? So that 41.60 gets put over here. And now I'm at well over $100 refund, okay? Now I'm going to do one more where it isn't a credit. It's where I'm going to owe, all right? And I'm going to not go to Nevada. I'm going to go to California. So my California miles, that was my second busiest state, Utah being my first. In California, the tax rate here is 76 cents. Well, these rates I'm telling you are a little old, but this is a return I did before some of these tax rates changed. I think this went up to 79 or something like that. Anyway, 76 cents a gallon. So every gallon of fuel I purchased in California, I got 76 cents a gallon. Now my total miles in California was 7,275, all IFTA miles. And if I take my 72.75 and I divide it by 7.78, I get 935 gallons burned in California. Now, the problem is I only purchased 535 gallons in California, all right? By the way, your gallons is another very easy report, by the way. You don't have to save up all those receipts if you don't want to. This should come off of your fuel card. Whatever fuel card you're using, check to see if they offer you a report where you can download a fuel purchase report in every state for a specific period of time, okay? All right, let's get back to California. I only purchased 535, yet I owe taxes for 935. And again, we got this 935 because we took the 72.75 total for the quarter, divided it by 7.78 average, and that's how we got the 935. We have a deficit here. I only paid for 535. The deficit is 400 gallons. Well, now look at this. I owe 76 cents per gallon. So that's 400 gallons. And when you figure that out, 76 cents times 400 comes up to $304. So that's what I owe for California. I don't get a credit. If this number here had been bigger than this number, I would get a credit. But no, I didn't buy a whole lot of, or I didn't buy enough fuel in California, and that's why I have this positive number here, okay? So you keep doing this, and you just go state by state, and you'll have credits, and and you'll have debits and whatever, and then at the very end, when you total all of these up, you come to the bottom, and this is going to be either what you owe or what you're going to get a refund for. And on this particular report, I owe $193.14. Okay, so once you fill in the detail, just add up each column, and you get these numbers here, all right? So this is the total amount of miles that I drove. These are the gallons that I burnt, 3363. These are the gallons that I purchased. And you can see I was off by 30 gallons. And through the math, okay, those 30 gallons are going to cost me $193.14. Now, you may have to go back, stop the video, and replay some of this just to see again what I'm talking about. But it should make sense to you, all right? So for instance, if I had purchased all of my fuel in California, let's say all of it, I purchased all my fuel in California at 76 cents. Well, it makes sense, and let's say I drove from here to Salt Lake. It makes sense then that since Nevada's only 27 cents a gallon, and Arizona's 26 cents a gallon, and Utah is 30 cents a gallon, but I paid 76 cents a gallon, that's going to tell you that I'm going to get a huge refund, okay? I'm going to get a huge refund if I did that, if I bought all my fuel in California. Now, however, let's say I really like Arizona fuel prices. Well, of course I do, because it's cheaper in tax, right? But the problem is if I bought all my fuel in Arizona, every other state here is much higher, okay? And I am going to owe, it could be $400 or more, actually, especially because of the tax in California. The best thing to do when you're buying fuel is, and now listen to this, and some people can't get the concept, is you purchase fuel where you take your retail price and you minus any deductions you get for the fuel card for anything, okay? And then you take away the fuel tax, okay? So let's say in California it's $4 a gallon and you get a 50 cent, it's $4 a gallon, you get a 50 cent discount, and then you want to take away 76 cents. Your true cost per gallon in California is $2.74, okay? So you take that $2.74 and figure out the same thing in the other states you're going through to see where your truest fuel is going to be cheaper. You have to take away the discount and you have to take away the fuel tax. Now, it doesn't really come into play with IFTA at all. That's just a little tip, okay? That's how you figure out cheapest fuel. All right, I am rambling. So take all these figures, go back over, you fill all those figures in here, and none of these applied to me, and this just, so this here carried right down here, 193.14, and that's what I owe, okay? So I know, I thought I was trying to make this easy for you. I may have confused myself. No, I know what I'm talking about. Ask me some questions down below, okay? If you have any questions on IFTA, this is an easy way to fill out this form. The instructions are there. It's so easy. And like I said, just ask any questions down below. Give me a thumbs up if you got any value out of this. And be sure to subscribe, like, share the video. And want some one-on-one time with me, if you'd like a free 15-minute meeting with me, either by Zoom or by phone, go to truckingtopics1on1.com and you get access to my calendar. If nothing is available, check back in a couple of days for any cancellations or new blocks opening up, because I only book 2 weeks out at a time, okay? So, don't be discouraged by that. Just check back. And that's it. I rambled a little bit. I apologize for that, but I really wanted to explain to you about IFTA, all right? And everyone, because everyone wants their fair share. If California gets all the fuel tax because that's where we're purchasing it, right? And you drive through Arizona, Nevada, and Utah, and your heavy equipment is on their roads and everything, well, they're not getting anything from you because you bought all your fuel in another state. IFTA is the way to even the process out so that everybody gets their fair share. All right, you guys. Pleasure being with you. Thank you for hanging in there with me. The channel's growing. Ask me questions. You guys can see that I answer them. Be safe out there.